Hello, friends and lovers, it's Alien, and it's been a long 5 months, hasn't it? But we're finally here. We got the new major content update for Hades 2. In case you missed it, the game came out in May of 2024. It is now October of 2024. And while we got some minor balance patches and fixes in between, this is the first major content update. It took a solid 5 months for us to get here. Let me overview what's going to be going on in this video right now. So I'm going to do an overview of what the update actually has for everybody, in case you kind of just want the quick and dirty. In the middle, I'm going to go over the patch notes. That'll be the nitty gritty, and we'll kind of go over all the little things that are going on there. And at the end of the video, I'm just going to have some footage of the major new stuff, namely just the new zone and the new weapon. That is the major stuff here. So what do I have first and foremost here? So yes, there is a new zone. It's the third zone for the surface now. So there are now 3 zones. That is Mount Olympus. And then we have a brand new weapon complete with 3 aspects. Why don't we kind of quickly go over what the deal is with the new weapon here? This is Zinth, the black coat. So we do have 3 aspects for it as normals. We have aspect of Mel, we have aspect of Selene, and we have aspect of Nyx. Why don't we kind of go over what these do? Because I'm sure this is going to be the most interesting bit for a lot of people here. So let's go over the basic moveset, because it is the same across all of them. So your regular attack is, it might look a little familiar, almost like the fist from Hades 1, right? That is the regular attack. The Omega attack is actually a much longer charge, and then it emits like quite a large blast with a decent range actually to it. The interesting thing about this is the fact that you actually block attacks, not just projectiles, but pretty much anything, almost anything, I guess I should say, during that period of time. You can let go a little bit sooner too, if you so choose. If you're out of mana, actually, I don't even know the answer to that. If you're out of mana, I actually don't know if you can block attacks here or not. I guess we'll have to experiment with that, though. Next up, you have the special. Special is pretty cool. It's pretty cool looking. So you just fire some rockets. A couple of homing rockets. They're a bit wonky. They're a bit weird. They tend to kind of have a life of their own, I guess you could say. You know, they might hit the enemies you're hoping for. They might do a little twirly thing. Don't know. This is the Omega Special, where it chooses to kind of target... Oh man, it takes forever to kind of hit the targets there, I just realized for that one. You can target multiple enemies at once with them, and they will home in on the foes during that time too. But that is the basic moveset. You also have a sprint or a dash strike here. So that's from using the attack while coming out to the sprint. And by the way, take a look at this badass sprint. Isn't that cool? That's really cool, right? So that is the moveset. That is basically all it has going on for it. And then the different aspects here. So you have aspect of Mel, your attacks, sprint, and move speed are faster. Kind of what you expect from a Mel aspect, I think, here. So it doesn't affect your specials at all, which I think is a bit of a disappointing, I guess. I think it would have been nice. Aspect of Selene, you start with Skyfall, which is a hidden hex that strikes multiple foes and applies Shine. You see Shine above my head here. It is a curse. That's important. It counts as a curse. Afflicted foes take plus 50% damage from your Omega moves and last for 8 seconds. Yes, so... that's interesting, right? So we actually already have the hex as soon as we have it here. That's actually it popping off there. You can see the hex above Skelly during that time as well. And yes, you can power up this hex by getting Path of Stars, just like any other hex as well. So it's very interesting. And so you'd want to spam your Omega moves after using something like the Shine there, right? Because you get more damage from your Omega attacks on it. That's right. And it will kind of bounce around between different enemies. You do have to be, like, kind of close to them, though. You can't be at a super far range, if I remember correctly. Let me see if I can, like, make it work here. I can't make it happen again right now, I guess. All right, so anyway, moving on. Aspect of Nyx, you have Omega Boost, which lets you produce a Night Spawn after you activate it. This one's even more elaborate, I think, here. So, Omega Boost, you can see it actually there. Hold A, or the sprint button, to use 30 magic to power up your sprint, dealing 150 damage on the area of impact. And then, once you do that, you will then get Night Spawn. Your attack and special also split in 2 that deal reduced damage, and it lasts for 5 seconds. So, it kind of doubles up your attacks and specials. So, what is it talking about? So, when you start sprinting, you get an Omega charge bar, and this will be affected by things that increase your Omega charging speed. You box someone like Skelly, and now you get the split on the attack after that. See the blue meter that they use for a lot of different aspects down in the bottom left next to our magic bar? That indicates how long it's going to last for you there. Same thing with the special. You'll get additional rockets out of it, although they deal less damage. So those on-hit effects might be a little bit better with this aspect. It's an interesting one. So if you don't have enough magic, you can't do anything with it. And then as soon as you have enough, you got to keep that buff up there. That's interesting, right? That could actually have some good synergies with some sprints that we don't use very often, is my thought. Namely, like I'm coming to mind with like Hera. They did change Hephaestus's sprint, so that one unfortunately does not really work anymore with it. But yeah, I think that's a good overview for Zinth, the new weapon here. So let's move on to some of the other things. All right, I got myself a cheat sheet here. So like I said, of course, there's that new zone. It is a full new zone on the surface. It is Mount Olympus, where you can cover all sorts of new enemies, mini bosses, new final boss, of course, there as well. You have the new weapon. There is also cosmetics here at the crossroads, both with Skelly. You might notice that the platform here is actually a new cosmetic. You can buy them from Dora, and it's for at least 3 different areas I've noticed there as well. You also have 2 new familiars. You also have a dog and a bird. If you're curious how to get them, I found the dog in the underworld so far. Not certain where to find the bird yet. You have 2 new event gods, I'm going to call them. I call them event gods because they act more like Artemis or Circe or Medea, where you run into them in a specific chamber. For Athena, she will come in kind of like Artemis and just appear at random when you are in Mount Olympus. Or at least that's where I've seen her so far. I'm not so certain either of these gods will actually appear in the underworld for those runs. So Athena will appear at random, help you out in a combat, and then she will provide you a blessing. And yes, she's got some cool boons, and don't worry, you'll see them in future videos, I promise. Dionysus is actually more like Medea or Circe, where he has a specific chamber for himself in Mount Olympus, where he's like partying up and some cool shit like that. And yes, he has his own special boons, and a lot of them harken back to some things in Hades 1. With some small, well, I say small, but I think these are actually kind of bigger changes than they might let on here, is what's going on with the Oath of the Unseen. We actually have 2 new oaths here. Fangs is one of the big ones here. Most foes with armor have 2 random perks. This is very much so like benefits package from Hades 1, and it is hard. This is worth 5 here if you do both ranks. It is actually a pretty hard vow here. And you got Vow of Shadow. All encounters with wardens contain no fewer than 0 shadow servants. Wardens are mini bosses, but it seems like some mini bosses are excluded. Like Charybdis is a mini boss in the Rift of Thessaly, but Charybdis doesn't have a shadow. So what does it mean by a shadow servant? It kind of means just a copy. I'm actually not even certain if you can kill the copies or not yet, but yeah, it's kind of like trying to have to fight 2 copies of them at once. And when you go to the underworld and you go to Oceanus and you have to fight that stupid sea serpent and you get 2 of them, oh my god, it's so annoying, let me tell you. And then of course you got the UI changes here, which I think are useful changes, although I admit the text looks a little weird, right? Like it just doesn't really fit, but it could just be a placeholder. But I think it was super necessary to give us the ranks with the dots here. I think that looks way, 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 way better. Of course, you got new testaments for the new weapon, of course, for yourselves. I think those are the major things. I'm probably going to forget some stuff, but don't worry, we'll get into the patch notes in a minute. Some things that the game did not get added, because I know some people are just going to want to ask, you know, like what is and is not added with this content update. There's not many weapon or boon changes. There's a couple of things here and there, and if you want to know, you'll have to wait for the patch notes after this section here. There's no new weapon aspects besides for the new weapon, Zinth, here. So there's no hidden aspects that got added here. There's no new full-fledged gods that have full suites of boons either, I'm afraid. So no one you're just going to like have a god keepsake of and then just like run into and be one of those 4 core gods in a run for yourself, I'm afraid. And then not much has really changed in the underworld either. We do have some new portraits for different characters throughout the game. Actually, most of them have been added now, including Charon, Hades, Medea, Circe. Like a lot of the ones that had placeholder art are actually done. So that's really cool to see. But the underworld remains mostly unchanged, apart from some bug fixes and some minor tweaks and balances here and there. I think having said that, why don't we go check out the patch notes, okay? All right, here we are. I might skip over some bits in case, you know, like I just don't think it's super important, because otherwise these patch notes are big. This is a big update again. And I also want to go over the roadmap, because I think that's going to be important for what we're talking about. So let's hop into it, but I might bounce around a little bit. So of course, we got the new region, Mount Olympus, like we already discussed. We have the new weapon. We have the new characters, namely Athena and Dionysus are back. New familiars. You got the Crossroads cosmetics, expanded story. So they got like crazy amounts of new dialogue, of course. They got the cute world map between each zone. I gotta love that. There's something about it that it brings almost a tear to my eye to see it. It's very cute. Max support is in now, finally. Nocturnal arms and abilities. We have the Witch's Staff. Reworked special is faster and bounces between foes. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't really comment on it. Sister Blade's reworked special pierces foes, returns to you, potentially hitting foes more than once. So they worked in hook knives innately to the blades. So I'm pretty sure that hammer is gone now too. I haven't tried that one yet either, but let's see how it feels. Umbral Flames, a special projectile spin left or right depending on your movement. That could be interesting, and maybe you can kind of milk it to really hit enemies with the special a lot more. The Moonstone Axe, reworked special is Rising Slash that strikes several times but no longer blocks foes. So effectively, this will act the same as the old special / Omega special for the axe, but now you just have like a fun spin-up animation for it instead of that weird blue blocky spinny thing that you had before. So there's no more blocking with the axe, just to be clear. Instead you got a cool new spin-up animation, but it effectively acts the same way despite the animation change in terms of how you damage the enemies with it. Black Coat is indeed the new weapon. Your dash is innately faster and more responsive, so that Arcana card is different now. It just makes you sprint 10% faster, so the dash is just innately a little bit more responsive. You can now more reliably dash out of hit stun effects and certain foes' strikes. It should be easier to aim certain abilities using the gamepad, it says too. So, for the Nocturnal Arms, we have Moros, rescaled upgrade, slightly reduced fully upgraded blast damage. Moros is a very strong aspect, or at least was a very strong aspect, so it's not a huge surprise that it saw some changes here. However, notice how one key aspect I think that a lot of us like is Aspect of Charon that remains untouched here, interestingly. Argent Skull Medea, increased attack and special damage, improved upgrades, shells now load faster as well. So some big buffs here for Aspect of Medea. I'm excited to try it out soon. Kind of surprised because I thought it was a fairly popular aspect, but this might indicate that it might not be, you know? And of course we got the 3 aspects for the Black Coat. From the Crossroads Cauldron, we got a bunch of new stuff here, and it's mostly things to unlock new features and processes here. So the Eyes of Night and Darkness makes moon monuments and unseen sigils sometimes appear in locations. Further details are below. Earthly Fortune lets you recycle unneeded resources at the Wretched Broker in exchange for prestige, which is used for decorative items at Dora. Summoning for a musical rhapsody, required to summon the music maker who lets you unlock different music to play at the Crossroads. Spreading of Ashes lets you save multiple Arcana arrangements in the Altar of Ashes. Long-awaited feature there for people. Favorite of all keepsakes lets you designate a keepsake to auto-equip in the training grounds. I'm guessing they just mean, like, you automatically put that down every time you enter the training grounds. Kind of an interesting one. Didn't think it was something that was requested, but I'm down for it. Abyssal Reflections lets you re-attempt cleared Chaos Trials and tracks your fastest time. Oh, that's such a cool feature, isn't it? That is badass, let me tell you. Bravery of Familiar Spirits now required to upgrade your animal familiars, so it's no longer just something that you can already do. You actually have to unlock it now in order to upgrade the familiars. Arisen Troves makes infernal troves sometimes appear on the surface. Surge of Desecrating Pools makes pools of purging appear between underworld regions. So there's something weird with this that will show up later on. I guess I'll just say it now. I've only encountered the pool of purging going into Tartarus, the final zone in the underworld so far. But it's saying between underworld regions as in like all of them here. So I don't know if it's like a typo or if there's a bug or if I haven't actually gotten to this particular cauldron recipe yet. I don't know. If you actually encounter them outside of that one zone transition, let me know because I'm kind of confused by that one. Frozen Life Spring makes found chambers sometimes appear in the new region. Adjust the requirements and cost several incantations. Melonway and Hecate now will sometimes conclude incantations in unison. The Sorceress has been reworked at the Altar of Ashes, aka your Arcana cards. The Sorceress normally would slow down time while you use your Omega moves, but now it makes your Omega moves faster, and the prior effect has been moved to Hecate's keepsake, the Silver Wheel. So, you no longer can slow down time by just casting your Omega moves like normal. You have to have Hecate's keepsake on, which makes that a keepsake quite strong, to be honest. I really do think it does. Swift Runner no longer makes your dash faster, since this is now innate. Death added a new UI indicator for the effect. That's the card that would increase your crit damage if you use non-consecutive Omega moves. Strength has now been reworked and now provides a global damage boost if you have no Death Defiance effects. That's right. So it's 4 Grasp now, and Death Defiances are also 4 Grasp. So if you want to go big, you can turn off your Death Defiances, turn on Strength, which makes you take 50% less damage and deal 25% more. So if you have some confidence, that might actually be the way to go. It makes it quite interesting, huh? Adjusted upgrade costs of various cards, improved contextual hints for upgrading the Grasp, clarified descriptive test for various cards. I didn't actually notice any other changes to the cost of Grasp, besides maybe Strength? I can't think of it off the top of my head what actually got changed after that, because it looked normal to me otherwise. Each of the 2 new allies you can meet has a unique keepsake, and you can gain in the customary way. Silver Wheel has been reworked, now slows everything around you while you channel Omega moves. Gold Purse by Charon, now affected by gold boosting boons such as Affluence from Chaos. It's still a bad keepsake, I think, right now. I think it's still rough compared to the other things being offered in the cabinet. Improved feedback and fixes for when certain keepsakes expire for the night. Adjusted placements for some keepsakes in the cabinet to make room for the new ones. Clarified descriptive text for several keepsakes. Boons and blessings. Each of the 2 new allies you can meet has their own blessings to aid you in your task. Altogether renamed from Elementary Particles, and is now Hera's Legendary, and is no longer the duo boon between Hestia and Hera. I think that's fair. It was a very, very strong boon, I think. Cherished Heirloom now also improves your current keepsake, not just later ones. Holy crap, I actually didn't even notice this note prior when I read this. Oh, I didn't know that. So that's the one that ups the rank of your keepsake, and now it's also your current keepsake instead of the future ones. Nice. Spiteful Strength is gone. That is the Hera Hef duo, though the effect can be found in Wells of Charon in the new item Danae Dagger. We'll read about that yet, but Spiteful Strength was the one where it gave you plus 200% attack and or special damage if you have no boon in your attack or special slot. Brave Face, this is now a duo and no longer offered by Hera alone. That used to be Hera's old legendary, where you take less damage but it consumes magic. That has now been moved to the Hera Hef duo. Incandescent Aura is the new duo between Hera and Hestia. Whenever you restore magic, damage surrounding foes. That has some interesting things going on with it, because it's 5 times the magic that you restore. So if you restore 100 magic, that's going to deal 500 damage to the enemies around you. You have to be kind of close to them, I noticed, though. But that could be interesting, especially with someone like Hephaestus's magic regen boon. I don't know if you need to be missing the magic. I got to test it some more. Frosty Veneer, reduced effectiveness. The minimum damage you can take is now increased. Ocean's Bounty, Ash, and Psyche rewards now are guaranteed. Update the presentation. Plentiful Forage, reduced life gain. I don't get this one. Plentiful Forage is the boon where it gives max health whenever you pick up a seed. And you can get some max health out of it, but it wasn't that good, you know? Like, very few things got nerfed this patch, which is why I'm kind of shocked by this one, truth be told. Snow Queen no longer blocks damage from Vow of Time. The Oath. Vow of Time. Are they talking about Vow of Time? Wait a minute. I don't even know what the Vow of Time is. Oh, I actually don't know what they mean. Love Handles. It raised the effectiveness. So I guess they made that better. Although when I looked at the boon, it looked the same. It deals the Heartthrobs deal 120 damage now, which I thought was the same. Heartbreaker. Oh, this got bonked real bad. Heartthrobs now deal reduced damage and require more magic to appear. They went from 30 to 40 magic to get them to appear, and I think at Epic is 120 damage. I'm pretty sure beforehand it was 240 at Epic, I think. Ooh, so yeah, it got hit bad, but it was a very, very strong boon in general, and then like overall build, it was probably too strong. Was it that strong? Well, time will tell. We'll see. Smithy Sprint from Hef, cut from the game and replaced with Stamp Rush. After you dash, occasionally create a blast around a nearby foe. This is to make it so Hef's dash kind of falls in line with his attack and special, where it has a long cooldown that you can palm, and he has those other supplementary boons such as Furnace Blast and Grand Caldera that scales off of the blast damage. It kind of just fits better, and it works with the dash, and you have to be near an enemy for it to work, so you won't waste the cooldown just by dashing randomly around, so don't worry about that. I think it's good, but it does feel like it's a bit on the lower end. It's only 100 damage per cooldown, and you can't improve that because when you palm it, it just reduces the cooldown. Mid condition from Hef, reduced invulnerability duration. I think at Epic it was 12 seconds, now it's 8. I think. Very strong boon, so yeah, I understand. Grand Caldera fixed heroic rarity, which previously was not stronger than Epic. Crispy coating has been cut from the game from Hestia. Instead, we have Hot Pot. You have a chance to dodge damage. This is doubled against Scorch afflicted foes. I haven't actually seen this boon yet, but it's interesting. Crispy coating was the one, I think, where your Scorch damage would deal more to armor. So that's actually kind of interesting, but they don't say how much dodge, so I guess we'll have to see. Cinerary Circle from Hades. That's right, Hades has some new boons in the underworld. Whenever you use enough magic, summon soul urns around you that deal area damage when destroyed. They're pretty cool. Yes, they look exactly how you think. Last Gasp. A bonus damage slightly reduced, though now scales with the number of Death Defiance effects used that night, not just with how many you have missing. That's a really cool thing because I felt like that boon was pretty boring beforehand and just wouldn't often do a whole lot. I think having it scale with how many Death Defiances you've used total just makes it more interesting at least. Pom 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 is a new one from Echo that doubles the palm level of your boon with the highest palm level. Now, this is probably not going to be a good choice to make with Echo most of the time. It's probably bad. Like, a palm might go from 2 to 4 or 3 to 6. And you have severe diminishing returns. But, oh my god, the memes, the high palm level memes. Oh my god, I'm super excited. Boon, boon, boon. Now lets you choose 1 of 3 random boons from the previous night. Instead of just getting one, you get to choose. That's great, right? They made that so strong, didn't they? Just the names, other minor fixes, and adjustments. Added all new upgrades for the new weapon, of course. This is for Daedalus Hammer upgrades. Hook Knives has been cut from the game and has been replaced with Reaper Knives. Your specials have bonus power and deal damage in a wider area. Pretty standard now. Empowering Guard, since there's no more block with the axe, has been cut, and now you have Siege Shredder. Your special strikes farther ahead and deals bonus damage. Haven't tried that one yet. Advancing Whirlwind also got cut. That was the one that would make your Whirlwind go forward and you would kind of stand in place. Now we have Seething Marauder. Each of your attacks also deals damage to surrounding foes. That one's interesting that I have questions about to see how it'll work. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in that one. Hexes and Paths of Stars. So while using Lunar Ray, deal damage in an area around you. That one's called Overflow. Impact. Lunar Ray has bonus power when it first deals damage each encounter. Saturation. Using Moon Water also fires your Omega cast immediately. Consequence. Whenever Total Eclipse strikes a Guardian, your next use of it is partially charged. Eminence now Sublime quality upgrade. Tenacity is now Sublime. Frenzy is now Bright. Some rarity changes and some things like that. Nothing too crazy there. Well of Charon actually got a few new things here. Quite a few. I'm a little surprised. Danae Dagger. Your attacks and specials are stronger while not empowered by boons. Previously, this effect was on the boon Spiteful Strength. And it is still 200%. But the weird part is, this only costs 10 gold. It's 10 gold. I mean, you might not want it super often. It lasts for, like, I think 6 encounters. It's just so cheap. It's just so cheap, you know? Sacrificial Hymn. This one's cool. Sacrifice boons will be offered as soon as possible. And your next is Stronger. Previously, this effect was on an old boon called Family Trade. That one could be quite interesting and possibly useful. Mist Veil. After you use magic, restore it rapidly up to a limit. Previously, this effect was on the Silver Wheel. That's a really good item, too. And I think it's relatively cheap, too. 10 to 25 gold. I'm going to say it's somewhere in between there. It's actually quite cheap, and it's a good one to kind of supplement you while you don't have a magic regen boon yet, maybe. Splinter Shield, you just get some armor, potentially, from that. Shrine of Hermes. So we got lots of new stuff here. Restore some health, restores even more health, gain some armor, gain even more armor. And now you can get a Kiss of Styx from a Shrine of Hermes, too. It's more likely to offer a restorative item now of some sort. It makes sense since the surface is longer now. And the surface is kind of hard, too, I gotta say. Foes and Dangers. Added a variety of foes to go with all new region, including new Wardens and a new Guardian. I've seen 2 new Wardens, or mini-bosses, and of course you just have the one boss at the end of the zone still. Made various adjustments to foes on the surface route, and now that it has a 3rd region. Chronos reduced downtime between phases and other minor adjustments. I think that's kind of nice, because it felt like once you got used to the fight, that downtime, it just felt longer than necessary a lot. Eris, various adjustments in a surprisingly rational turn. She no longer is as prone to standing in flames. Infernal Beast resurfaces sooner after the battle's first phase, various minor adjustments. Polyphemus no longer summons elite foes, other minor adjustments. Charybdis, reduced number of phases, flails with increased intensity and reduced downtime. And Hecate now loses invulnerability sooner after her Sisters of the Dead are vanquished. That's actually, yeah, lots of like little nice things that are hopefully going to pick up the pace of some of these boss fights, I think, here. For certain ranged attacking foes, fewer of them will fire with you at once. All right, next up, we got some special encounters. We got some new stuff here. Moon Monuments, which I still have actually not run into. These can appear after the incantation Eyes of Night and Darkness, challenging you to vanquish a powerful elite foe for a special reward. I still haven't seen one, even though I have unlocked it. Unseen Vigils, these can now appear after the incantation of Eyes of Darkness, challenging you to vanquish a group of foes without taking a hit for a special reward. So they're probably like infernal troves, you know? Kill an enemy, quicker you do it, the more money you get. This is more like all or nothing, though it sounds. Reduce the duration before infernal trove rewards may be collected. Nemesis will no longer appear in place of Echo after the first time. She is less quick about gruffly running through exits. She is less quick to purchase items from Charon. Kind of interesting here that they removed the interaction with Echo, except for the first time. I didn't like seeing her in place of Echo, just to be clear. But, yeah, it was still kind of funny in its own way, I suppose. Adjusted Heracles combat encounter intensity. His first victim no longer appears as often near location entrances. He now exits soon afterwards. He can now sometimes appear in the new region. Icarus is more effective against your common foes. He can now appear in the new region. Boons of Hermes may now be offered among the options when you set forth each night. This is interesting, and I wonder where they're going with it. This is like a relatively small change to the game, potentially. But it might have more wider impacts than we think. So now when you start a run, if you're not wearing a god keepsake, you could encounter Hermes, Selene, a hammer, or one of 8 gods, 9 gods. That's just like a lot of different stuff in Chamber 1. Hermes is really not who you want to see in Chamber 1, to be honest. You want his boons. You just don't want him the first thing, you know? You want to empower your attack, your spec cast, your special. You need to power something up. Hermes doesn't really do that. So I wonder why they felt the need to make those changes. Not to mention, this won't happen if you use a god's keepsake anyway. It also hurts, you know, if you don't want to run a god keepsake, we have decreased odds of seeing a hammer in the first chamber, which is often useful. So I'm just really curious about the thoughts behind this change. Chaos gates may appear sooner than before on the surface route after a certain point. Adjusted intensity to trial the gods encounters on the surface no longer occurs in smaller locations. Animal familiars, here we go. We got 2 new familiars. Raki the Raven pecks at foes and makes them vulnerable to critical damage. I haven't seen the Raven yet. Hakuba the Hound grants more magic, stuns foes, and digs up useful items. I just unlocked the Hound, so I haven't actually been able to use them yet. You are no longer prevented from upgrading familiars more than once a night if you have the resources. Improved presentation. No longer appears in Erebus before you bond with her. You can no longer upgrade Frinos in the area behind the tent. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing too crazy there. This one has an interesting bit here. An all-new region, added new locations. A pool of purging now appears in the space before Tartarus. So I guess naturally, there are pools of purging before Tartarus. But then there's also incantation to get them in between all? Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why I'm confused. Because it almost seems like they doubled up here, but maybe you start with the pool of purging in Tartarus, and then you can unlock getting all the pools of purging, but I'm not sure on how to get that incantation to appear. Maybe you actually have to use the pool of purging going into Tartarus? Not sure yet. Fishing points are now easy to reach, blah, blah, blah. You got some new minor prophecies here. Probably nothing really worth reading for us. Resources and reagents. Darkness appears more frequently. Adjusted how much gold can be found in Ephora. You know, some basic stuff going on there. This is big, though. This is the big stuff about the Oath that I think is important if you've been playing the game for a while, I think. These are some big changes. If you play the game at a decent amount of fear, you know, like 16 plus, these are going to be some big changes for you. Vow of Panic is gone. That is the one that reduced your current amount of magic when you entered a chamber. Instead, we have Vow of Fangs that we looked at. Elite foes also gain a variety of nasty perks, which is much like benefits package from Hades 1. Vow of Suffering is also gone and has been replaced with Vow of Shadows. Vow of Suffering, I think, was the one that made you take more damage on the first hit when you're in a chamber. I'm fairly certain. Wardens also have shadow copies. Vow of Void, which was formerly called Denial, now has multiple ranks, each reducing your grass limit. That one where you would, spend 5 fear to get rid of your entire Arcana card collection. Now it has 4 ranks, and I think it goes 1, 1, 1, 2. So it still adds up to 5 total fear if you do the whole thing. I haven't played around with it much, but yeah, it makes sense that they made that more flexible. Vow of Hubris, reduced fear of 2nd rank. Used to be called Arrogance. Reduced magic primed per rank. Yeah, so I think it's just 1 and 1. So it's 2 fear total for this one. And it used to be it was 5 and 10 magic primed. And now it's 3 and 6. I think that's fair. More than fair, really. Because it was already a pretty easy oath. And while they reduced the fear amount, they also reduced the effectiveness. So it's still an easy fear that you'll probably end up taking a lot of times if you're trying to get like 16 or 32 fear or something like that. Some New Testaments, blah, 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 blah. And then after that, we kind of just got like a lot of stuff that we don't really got to pay too much attention to. I might miss some things here, and I'm sorry if I do, if there was something like super important here, but I think it's about time we move on at this point. If you got anything you want my opinion on, or you think I missed, feel free to tell me in the comments, of course, please. I don't even think there's really... Okay, well, hold on. There's one big thing in the bug fixes, I think, here that was important. Fixed Palms of Powers unexpectedly removing the effect of Vow of Hubris, which used to be called the Vow of Arrogance. That's the one we were just discussing that would prime some magic if you took a higher rarity boon. If you palmed that boon after the fact prior to this patch, it would remove the priming. They fixed that finally. It took a while, but it was just kind of surprising that it took that long. Wasn't certain if it was intended or not at that point. But all right, that's the patch notes. I hope you all enjoyed it. Now it begins the footage of a run that I had with the new weapon in the new zone. I'm just going to cut it down to just that. If you're interested in more, don't worry. We got lots of more Hades videos coming. And if you need more right now before I actually publish them on the channel here, check out the VOD channel. I have a link in the description. You can check out the streams where we play the game, and you can see all of the little interactions in the crossroads and all the first times for all the different experiences that we've had. Wait a minute, hold on. I almost totally forgot about the roadmap here. This is in the bottom right on the main menu. My head is blocking it right now. If you want to read it for yourself, let's quickly go over, because there's some important stuff here. Our early access development is well underway. We still have plenty left to do, so check this space after each major update for details we can share about what's on the horizon. Latest developments, we're pleased to have launched our first major update, which lets you explore war-torn Mount Olympus, wield the Black Coat, redecorate the crossroads, and much more. We'll be monitoring your feedback about all of it. Our second major update will be early next year. Our first major update took some months following our initial launch and patching period. While we expect this next one to require less time overall, the scope of work is going to take us into 2025. Beyond that, we can safely say that our second major update will not be our last in early access, and as such, it's too early to say when our version 1.0 launch will be. We appreciate your patience and understanding as we continue development. During early access, we intend to keep making additions, changes, and improvements in an effort to create the biggest, most replayable, most feature-rich game we've made yet, and most importantly, a worthy successor to the original Hades. Here are some high-priority tasks that they're working on, assumingly for the next major update. The climactic confrontation. What awaits on the summit of Mount Olympus? Once we add this, we will consider the main structure of the surface route to be complete. I think it's interesting here that they didn't use the terminology like biome or zone, so maybe the end of the surface run will be a bit different from what we're expecting. It might not be a fully fledged zone. Maybe it'll be a bit different. I don't know. I have no idea. New boons. Boons are an integral to the experience of Hades 2, so we have some more additions planned on this front. Surely the Olympians deserve no less. Kind of interesting that they're talking about that here too. They just mean more general boons, tier 1s, tier 2s, new gods. They don't mention gods here. We are missing one Olympian god still in the game, and that is Ares at this moment. New foes. We plan to add even more combat and counter variety. Having lots of exciting and varied encounters helps keep Hades 2 feeling fresh for as long as you play it. We'll also keep expanding the story, adding more music and artwork, and building on and polishing what's already in place. Some disclosures here and some closing remarks, and nothing too crazy, nothing that you wouldn't expect. I don't have a lot to say here, other than it's great to hear that we're going to have a shorter time span between major updates. I'm sure they had to kind of I don't know, like bounce back from that initial launch period, and they were updating and launching so many things and probably just trying to help people run the game in general right after launch, just taking care of so many little things, right? That now they can kind of focus in on the work that they have in front of them. But yeah, they are actually adding a lot. When you think about it, it could just be like a few months from now that we're going to have a full-fledged surface run as well as more content, you know? It's going to be short. If you're curious, how did this work in Hades 1? It was similar, but the patches were much closer together, especially at the start. There was only like 30 days between major patches in Hades 1, at least for 2 or 3 of the patches. I don't remember how many exactly. And then it moved to 60 days until the last couple of patches. And then it took a bit longer than that, but I can't really remember how much. But yeah, they were pretty frequent back in Hades 1, but otherwise it pretty much worked the same. If you want to know, when do I think version 1.0 will be? I have no idea, I'm afraid, you know. I mean, maybe late 2025, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. Hades 2 spent almost 2 years in early access. Hades 1 spent almost 2 years in early access. I would expect at least a year on this bad boy right now. Anyway, enjoy the footage, like I said earlier. Onward. Would it be a good idea to start a new save file? No. You don't need to start a new save. Doesn't matter. It's not possible that you really miss anything. They designed the game in such a way that you don't have to worry about that. Did I get a hammer? I did. I'm broke? Boink. Exhaust riser? Your dash strike hits 3 times. We liked that. And I'm probably still going to use it, even if we're not centered on it. Yeah, I love the map sequence. Isn't it good? More adamant we need.
Adamant. They don't let up.
Yeah, this dash strike one is pretty wild here, right? Come on, do it. Ooh, we like. And another.
Skyward.
Might consider a new save for the full release. No enemies.
Legions of Cronus.
Yeah. I think eventually, if you played a lot in early access, you might kind of just forget some of the story plots because it's going to take like, you know, a year or 2. Oh, it's the bird. Watch out.
Eagle.
Yeah, I don't think you can hurt it. So you're just meant to avoid it. I think. Fuck. I can definitely see that, and eventually I'll have to start a new save to kind of experience some of the story and everything again. Whenever your attacks strike foes, your special has a 25% chance to fire automatically. We have the burn on the special. That one does sound cool, I gotta admit. Only your regular attack will melt armor here, not even your Omega. This is both attacks. Let's finally try out Launcher Frame.
Further refined.
That could be a cool one. Give me the money here, actually. Have they confirmed another biome for the overworld? Kind of. The words they use is that they're going to have the final confrontation after this. And that is the priority for the next major update, which they say will not take as long as this one did. Boink. Okay. Hello? Yeah, we're gonna have to track down the Fates at some point. Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna work. I don't know how they're gonna work that into the story exactly. F.A. Okay, oh wait, no, there's Hera. She has that one duo that we want, right? Is it Hera I'm thinking of? The Born Game thing I keep thinking about. I'm lusting over. What? Oh.
Vengeance.
I'm trying to think of the name. I'm trying to think of one Shinedown song so that we can sing it when using this aspect. Someone help me out. There's gotta be one. Come on, Dio, where are you? There it is! Whenever you store magic during encounters, damage surrounding foes. Damage from magic restored 500%. It does have a cooldown. 45. Crazy die. Okay, I don't know all these. Sound of Madness. Okay, I guess I don't know any of these songs by their names. Can you all sing a little for me?
The battle of Olympus hangs in the balance as the mountain's mechanical protectors and the Titan's forces.
You haven't let your light shine down. Did I make up that tune? It sounds familiar. 500% of your total magic. It'll be, I guess, 500% of whatever magic you restore. So if we have Born Gain, it's a large restoration amount, but it's not very frequent, right?
Shivers. This place again.
Have I seen Dio yet? More like Dino. Because he's a piece of shit.
More of this tainted gold.
Oh, we got 2 mini bosses, so maybe we can see someone besides Talos. We have Trusty Shield, we have Mint Condition. Oh, new mini boss! Oh, they don't even get an introduction?
And serving Kronos too.
Holy shit. Block it! Block it! Block it! Block it! Oh, you broke my armor. Bitch. Oh no, I didn't get the damage from it because I think it was too far. Did I trigger Born Gain again? I didn't see the D. Ooh, cool. Burning Desire. Oh, that kind of works now. Since we have the boon, the hammer, that triggers our special on occasion. That way we could keep Scorch on enemies. Triple duos. Okay. Artificer, 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 Artificer. Oh, you can't get into the nest here. Artificer, 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 Artificer.
Auto forces.
Auto forcers, auto forcers, auto forcers, auto forcers. Don't confuse me, Mel. Ah. Do I like this weapon? Nah. Nah, I think it's bad. They should have just added Gilgamesh back in the game. Then it would have been fun, chat. Then I could have had fun. I saw 950 from that duo or something. Artificer, Artificer, Auto Forcers. Max health. Get out of here. Alright, pump up that hex some more. Dio, come on, baby. Where could he be now? Other players reported seeing him up top. I don't know, just bad luck here, maybe. Boink. Maybe there's some kind of dialogue we gotta trigger by going downtown. I don't know. I thought that was like a flying turtle for a second. Does it have a shield on its back?
The path of stars.
Dude, Mega Attack is working quite well. I will say. I don't think I want to do this. Especially when you think about the final battle where it's a single target. Right? Would they make me get it if I didn't have enough stuff here, maybe? Maybe.
With the grace of the moon.
Your path is set.
Oh, wait, who's this? Wait. Wait, who's this?
What is going on in here?
Why, hello.
Oh. Oh.
Now, who is this? What sort of nymph do we have here? Not from the waters nor the woods, but wait. Those eyes. Zach, man, is that you? You've changed. I like it.
Lord Dionysus, I presume. I'm Melinoi, sister to Zagreus. I've come to the mountain's aid at the family's behest. But what is the meaning of this festivity? Aren't you at war?
There's always time for festivities, baby.
Oh, Mel, right. The others mentioned you. Listen, baby, I'm into lots of different things, but war just isn't one of them. What's the use? We gods can't die, but we can live.
Your mountain is under siege. Kronos took my side of the family, and soon he may take yours.
All the more reason to raise a cup while we still can, yeah? Though I get it, not your thing, but why not have a little pick-me-up for the road ahead? Get a load of these.
Yo, Trippy Shot's back, baby. After each encounter, restore some health if you took any damage in that encounter. Lost life restored 50%. Ooh, that's a better version of, what was it called? After Party? Worry free. Gain max health, but how much you have becomes a mystery. Oh, you gain 80 max health, but then you don't know how much you have after that point. Holy shit, that's crazy. Tipsy Shot. Hold cast to lob a large explosive. The binding circle forms there. Last damage 300? Holy shit. Holy shit. What else does he have here? Your Omega moves inflict hangover the first time they strike foes. Hangover damage 50 every 0.5 seconds. The first time they strike foes. Every 8 seconds in each encounter, Festive Fog appears, making you stronger while in it. In Fog, bonus damage 30%. In each encounter, grape juice appears in the area and grants power when used. Reappearance time 10 seconds. That was kind of weird. Tipsy Shot sounds fun.
And don't tell Athena or anybody that you saw us here.
Cheers,
Yes,
Matt.
sir. Yes, sir. Look at all the, like, the satyrs and everything. Look at all these details here. It's fun. I guess I am a little disappointed that neither Dio nor Athena have a full suite of boons to offer us. But that's fun, right? At least they did that. So Dio is specifically, seemingly only going to be in the overworld on Olympus as a potential chamber. Right? As a potential chamber. So you won't be able to see him in the underworld.
Bit uptight there, yeah?
And you won't encounter him, you know, like randomly while in combat. Oh, there it goes. No, get out! Hold on. Wait, hold it. Oh, not yet. That's the thing. I think the only disappointing part is, like, we're gonna see both of them a lot less frequently because of this. I mean, that and just, like, not getting a bunch of boons, I guess, too, but... Wah! At the end of the day, this is still a lot of variety to have. And it could be a lot of fun in that sense. There's kind of only so many different gods boons you can pick up in a run anyway. So I wonder, like, just having more different gods with, like, god keepsakes and everything, is that even as fun, I guess? I don't know. I actually don't know. Get up the attack. We have $604, so we should go to the shop. Is she?
You're not Lord Charon.
Ooh, it's got a special little pool.
A
Charon?
note says, "Hey, take what you need for gold. Honor system." See that one, Tula? And caught.
A Cressel.
Cheers to that, Tula.
It's a turtle, an armored turtle or
Yes, I'll
something.
accept this message.
We already saw Athena. Not this run, but... Heartbreaker? Shameless Attitude, too? Both are decent. Eh.
I have the gold.
More attack? Ooh, bad palms on that now. Preston pepperonis.
Don't move.
Ready!
Itos has excellent vision, of course. Saw you since you first
Is that the
set foot to
bird?
base of the mountain. Slowed you down, perhaps, but still. I knew you'd be here now.
Truly. And what shall be the outcome of our confrontation this time, since you know everything? Same as the last?
If you knew, the outcome would invariably be rather different than the one that's imminent. Though I suppose I can at least give you a hint. Go, Itos.
Oh, God, bird. Going rock hard there. Do I need to get out of that? Kind of couldn't really tell. Something hit me. Shine, baby, shine. You don't got to get out of this to the end. I love the premise of that, but I don't know. So go bottom, 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 middle. Yo, the extreme measures for this fight is going to go wild. It's going to be absolutely wild. All right, now we have to get out. So I tried to drop both flames in one area in particular. Oh, we are getting ads. Holy shit. Why is it harder? Top, middle, bottom, top, middle, top, middle, bottom, top, 150, middle. Bro. You gotta be kidding me. Block it. I'm getting sucked in. I'm getting sucked in. Got him. Wow. Wow.
Today brings about a better tomorrow. So be it. This too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Yay. No title? Oh, dynamic duos. Yay. Skyfall did 42K. The Omega attack did that much, huh? Interesting. Yay. I don't know how much Scorch did. 9K. Ugh. Ugh. Skyfall, huh? When you think about it. Huh. That is interesting. That is interesting. Get this shit out of here. Get that out of here. Put Skyfall on there. Your Hex inflicts shine and deals 90 damage to a random surrounding foe 11 times. 11. Okay. Was there anything else really that important here? I guess not. The Omega attack takes forever to charge, that's for sure. So, I don't know. The block might be useful in its own way. Can I let go of it sooner? Oh yeah, it was buffed by Flutter Strike, you're right. You can let go sooner. Huh. I don't know if I had fully determined that at the time of. This is definitely going to be...